I think that family and parent engagement represents individuals that are part of the school, so parents, caregivers of the students, as well as the students themselves. Being engaged with the school, meaning actually being present, in-person interaction, and a two-way communication. So whether it is being able to communicate out to the community via social media, or whether emails, written, hard stuff, or also opening up communication so that there's a sense of belonging to the school, to the community.
I think in order to achieve student success, we need to have it's a triangle of parent engagement and community engagement. And by that I mean it has to be a partnership between the school, the parents, and the community. We need to all work together on ways to effectively communicate and understand different cultural barriers, because York Region is one of the most diverse populations in the GTA outside of the TDSB, and I think that we really need to concentrate a lot on narrowing the gap culturally and accepting that in order for us to move forward to have higher student success, we need to really have a partnership between the admin, the teacher, the community, and the student.
Parent engagement to me is just having the opportunity to build something that is meaningful, authentic with the parents, and really just having an opportunity to connect with them, build a relationship, and just really foster an environment where we can help develop children, whether it's from an academic or social well-being.
I truly believe parents and school are partners. So we do have to work together for our kids' education. So for me, I do involve a lot in school. I volunteer a lot. I initiate a lot of events, and I communicate a lot with the parents and the teachers and also school principals. I'm trying to build a bridge, so between parents and the school.
We want to try and engage a diverse range of grades in the school, as well as parents from various backgrounds. So engaging them through activities and events such as movie nights, bingo nights, also inviting them to things that are outdoor. I know during COVID, we had a lot of success doing drive-throughs at our school, such as a toy drop-off drive-through or a Krispy Kreme drive-through, and that engaged a lot of people.
As well as families participating in things that we've done, such as socks drives, food drives, and other events to help out community members.
The first step was joining council and developing relationships with the community. So the parents that would be dropping off their kids to school. And from that, we developed a conversation cafe where we started having weekly conversations in the library. It would be different topics with tea, certain types of refreshments. And from there, we really actively built up our community engagement. From that, I've started a group in the community called Faces of the Heart, which is based on the pillars of community engagement. We've done a lot of engagement activities and helping those in the community that need the support. So we've done our ensemble event, which was helping kids get graduation and prom dresses for grade 8 and grade 12. We partnered up with local businesses to provide free self-esteem, self-care workshops, also makeup applications for grad and prom. From there, we helped over 300 kids in the region with getting backpacks and school supplies. And our last event was helping families in need in the community through an organization, Family Services York Region.
So I happen to work as a lunch assistant during school, and for years I shirked away. I would see meetings are coming up for school council, but I said, there's nothing, I don't need to say anything. I don't think I have anything to contribute in positivity, like in a positive manner. But the vice principal of the school encouraged me. She calls me and says, why don't you join the school council? And then I said, I don't think I would have anything to contribute. You see me practically every day. So she said, no, I'd like you to be there. You would be the best voice. You understand, you see it from a perspective as a parent, and we need that voice there with us to guide us through and take us through. And when I did join, what I did realize that we need more parents there. We need more voices, we need more diversity, we need more input. And I think we need to reach out more to parents. We need our parents to be engaged. It's not just the teachers and the admin and the students. It's the parents. The parents play an equally important role to be there. It's very essential that they are there.
I can see the anxiety in the community. A lot of parents talk to me. So I do contact Miss Lam, our principal, tell her what I see and what I'm thinking to host a seminar coaching parents, EQ parenting, and some parenting skills, especially in this difficult timing. So Miss Lam is very open, and she agreed with my idea, and she let me to do the organizing. And also I talked to her since Berkeley is a very, like the school has majority East Asian students. A lot of them are Mandarin speaking, the new immigrants. Parents, they don't speak really well English. There's a language barrier there. So I talked to Miss Lam. She agreed we have a Mandarin session. So she was very nice, very open, like for our social identity. So we have 2 sessions, Zoom meeting. One is for Mandarin, one is for English. It was very successful. The Mandarin one, we have over 380 audience for the seminar. And the English one was like 180 something. It was very successful.
We just got off of the most exciting literacy event, and how that came about was our survey. So when we surveyed the parents, one of the things that we heard them say was, we want to be in the schools. We want to know that you are linking your activity to learning. And so one of that linkages was literacy. And so we thought it would be a great way to have the parents, the community, the families all involved to do a fun night to where we put literacy at the forefront. And so we sent a quick social media post out to our community. We ended up collecting 1,300 books for our school. So our goal was for every family that attended our literacy night to leave with 1 book. Every family left with a bag of books. And so we also had 8 different stations within our gym. So we had everything from physical literacy. We had kids making bookmarks. We had an American Sign Language. So we wanted to show people that literacy just doesn't look like one thing. It is so many things. And it's that one approach doesn't fit all. It's that knowing that we can approach families in all different ways. Again, that's the feedback we got. To know that we can approach them, we can connect with them, we can interact with them, and overall we had an amazing, successful event.
As long as there's opportunities to communicate both ways and actually show up in the school in person and demonstrate the community that we are taking advantage of the fact that our school is a beacon to our community.
My advice for another community to increase family engagement would include ensuring that, given that's a very diverse group of students that are attending school, to make sure whatever event is going on, that there perhaps be translators there on site to assist parents or caregivers to ensure that they understand what's happening in the school and what's happening at the event. And to invite guest speakers, perhaps guest speakers from parents or caregivers who are insightful and have the expertise to discuss a broad range of topics such as mental health, what to expect after high school, going on to post-secondary or college.
As a parent, I wanted to build up really good relationship and a bridge. For school, I'm thinking maybe they can find a key person, like school council chair or a very active volunteer in school to initiate a lot of communication through parents and the communities to build a very strong community together.
So I think the basic step is to start small. And how you can do that is by having a China chat, a conversation cafe. When you are able to bring in the stay-at-home mothers, that is really a driving force to building community engagement, especially in elementary school. And it does carry through to secondary school. So if you can sort of make the connections at that level, and also be culturally representative in the programming that you are offering for your weekly chats. And then you can build from that. You can build out from a simple chai and a chat. You can build out to having walking Wednesdays or Fit Fridays, where parents who are dropping their kids off, they can start walking together, physical activity, making relationships. And in the long run, it does help with issues that do arise, like peer issues that do arise in schools, because parents are communicating. And I think that is a hidden tool that we need to really maximize on. If you look at peer pressure and bullying, cyberbullying, if you can build the relationships in the community, you're really in the long term being a partner and helping the schools to alleviate some of the stresses that these kids are now going through.
We would encourage all council members to bring out friends, get the word out, come to council meetings, because it really brings a community close together, and encourage families to come to all events by advertising and just really getting the word out there.
And maybe sending a survey to families asking what types of events they would be interested in if you are using your PO grant, finding out what type of speaker your community would best benefit from in order to have the most amount of families commit.
One way to increase engagement in just about anything is to have fun. So while it is important for us to take advantage of events or programs such as the Pro Grant, where we can hold information session, offer help to families that need it through, for example, mental health and wellness evening, there should also be opportunities for us to welcome the families into our schools and actually have events that are viewed more as an opportunity to interact, to socialize, again, with the parents, students, caregivers, and increase that sense of belonging to the school and actually having a stake in the school's well-being, as well as demonstrating what makes our school, our community, a safe community for our kids to go to.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PEAC Regional Symposium, PEAC Regional Symposium Parent Voice Matters. My name is Tina Sharma, and I'm here with Kathy Miles. We are proud PEAC co-chairs, and we will be your co-hosts this evening. Tonight, we have an opportunity to learn and share together. We will begin with the land acknowledgement by Andrew McConnell, Coordinator for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Education Team, and Holly Schlamm, Indigenous Student Trustee. Following the land acknowledgement, we have the honor of welcoming Dr. Jacqueline Getfield as our keynote for this evening. After Dr. Getfield's presentation, and since we value movement breaks, together we will engage in a 5-minute break before moving into the workshops. And then following the movement break, you will join the workshop you pre-registered for, offered by WIRE DSB parents, community members, and staff. So before we start, we have a few items to share that are so that our evening together can proceed smoothly. Throughout the main session, prior to moving into workshops, your cameras and microphones will be turned off to support the bandwidth. We will provide you with messages and links using the question and answer feature throughout this evening to help guide you and answer any questions you may have. So please make sure you have the Q&A panel open. We will also be tweeting throughout the evening from @LeadershipWireDSB, #PEACWireDSB. And now, please enjoy the land acknowledgement video.
My name is Andrew McConnell, and I'm the coordinator for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Education. The land acknowledgement talks about how we should work with our partners in education. The WIRE DSB demonstrated how to do this in September when it supported Georgina Island's powwow. This is an example of ethical leadership because the board worked with the community. It was the community who led the planning for the powwow, while board leaders lent the supports that were available to them and applied their internal leadership capabilities in service of the community. It was Georgina Island who were rightly leading the planning and implementation of the event, and the YRDSB who walked alongside.
We affirm that we are all treaty people and acknowledge that the York Region District School Board is located on the lands of 2 treaties. These treaties are signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the First Nations of the Williams Treaties, who are the Mississaugas of Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Scugog Island, and the Chippewas of Beausoleil, Rama, and Georgina Island, our closest neighbor and partner in education. To honor this agreement, we will take up our responsibility to be respectful of their traditions, knowledges, and inherent rights as sovereign nations. We will respect their relationship with these lands and recognize that our connection to this land is through the continued relationship with these First Nations, and we acknowledge our shared responsibility to respect and care for the land and waters for future generations.
Thank you, Tina, for the warm welcome and opening remarks. How wonderful was the land acknowledgement. I'm Kathy Miles, PEAC co-chair. Let's continue with the welcomes from our chair of the board, Ron Lin, trustee Jenny Chen, and director Scott Yake, who are all very excited for the opportunity to share their message with you this evening.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to you all for joining us here tonight to engage in an evening of shared learning and collaboration. We understand how valuable your time is, and we appreciate that you have chosen to spend it with us. Tonight's symposium is a wonderful opportunity for us to engage with other family members, administrators, and trustees from all over York Region. We all share a common objective: to support the education, success, and overall well-being of our students, your children. One of the 4 priorities outlined in the board multi-year strategic plan is building collaborative relationships. We know the importance of cultivating relationships, particularly those with parents and families, and opportunities like this one are vital to upholding our commitment to you, our families. Our goal is to develop trusting relationships that are rooted in respectful and responsive communication. Our aim is for families to feel connected to their child's school and to be informed and aware of the resources available to them. We want everyone in our school communities to feel welcomed, respected, and valued. Your contributions as school council members, volunteers, and family supporters are invaluable. They help foster a strong sense of community and strengthen our schools. We thank you for your ongoing support. I would also like to extend our appreciation to the members of the Parent, Family, and Community Engagement Advisory Committee, PEAC, for their continued effort to promote and enhance parent engagement within our board, and for their hard working in making tonight's event a success. I hope you all enjoy the evening and take advantage of this opportunity to connect and learn together. Thank you very much.
Good evening, friends. As a trustee representative for the Parents, Family, and Community Engagement Advisory Committee, it is my honor to greet you as we come together at tonight's regional symposium to share and collaborate on ideas that will benefit students across York Region. Many of you attending tonight are school council members, and we as a board greatly appreciate the work that you are doing, together with your school's administrative team, to create welcoming learning environment for all YRDSB students. Parents and families play an essential role in student education, and your involvement at your children's school is crucial, not only for the success and well-being of your own child, but for all of the students at that school, including those who may be underserved and are underperforming. Your work helps to create a sense of community within the school, and create opportunities for families to stay informed and involved in their children's education. The role of PEAC members is to support, encourage, and enhance parent engagement. At the board level, it is a fact to improve student achievement and well-being. It is through collaborative effects, such as tonight's symposium, that we are able to connect and share our experience with each other and both staff and trustees. We welcome your feedback and suggestions to help us achieve our common goal of supporting student achievement and well-being in York Region. On behalf of PEAC, I would like to thank you all for your time and your commitment to YRDSB students. I look forward to continue our work together.
Hello, on behalf of the senior leadership team, I'd like to welcome you to the Parent, Family, and Community Engagement Advisory Committee Regional Symposium. I thank you for taking the time to attend today's event. Your commitment to improving student achievement and well-being in York Region is truly appreciated. The purpose of the board's PEAC committee is to support, encourage, and enhance parent engagement at the board level, because parent and family engagement matters. When parents play an active role in their children's education, studies show that student achievement improves. These studies recognize parent engagement as an important element to enhancing student achievement and well-being, and that is why we are here today. This symposium is an opportunity for parents, families, and community members to come together with administrators and trustees to learn more about how we can support the learning, well-being, and outcomes of all YRDSB students, particularly those who are underserved and underperforming. Working together, we can advance student achievement and create inclusive learning environments that welcome and engage families in their child's learning and schooling. I would like to thank the members of PEAC for the work they have done to make a difference in the lives of our students. Your support of local school councils and your knowledge of parent engagement that you share often with the board has been truly invaluable. I hope that you will come away from today's symposium inspired to continue this great work in your communities. I also want to thank the organizers of today's event for all their hard work to bring everyone together here today. Enjoy the symposium.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron, Chair Ron Lin, Trustee Jenny Chen, and Director Scott Yake. We would now like to give a warm welcome and introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Jacqueline Getfield. Dr. Getfield is a fierce advocate for her two children. She consults and collaborates with educators, administrators, and health professionals at the local school and district school board levels in the Greater Toronto Area. Dr. Getfield has over 30 years of professional experience in education, research, public relations, corporate communications, and marketing in Canada and Jamaica. Recently, she earned the Director of Philosophy at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto. Dr. Getfield's research interest focuses on family engagement, homeschool partnerships, as well as concepts of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility and belonging. Over the years, Dr. Getfield has taught at the Toronto Metropolitan University, formerly known as Ryerson University, Seneca College, and Centennial College. Dr. Getfield has served as a member of PEAC in York Region District School Board, and she is a member of her children's local school council. Welcome, Dr. Getfield.
Hello, everyone. First, let me thank the YRDSB leadership team, as well as the volunteer parent members of PEAC for inviting me to deliver this keynote speech. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to address you as the keynote speaker at the 2023 YRDSB PEAC Symposium. It is not lost on me that we are in a period of intense transformation. Change is no longer on the horizon. Change has to happen now. The demand for change is here. Change for the institution, change for its leaders, and change for us, the family members. And when I say family members, I'm including those who are members of PEAC and those who are members of the school councils. For this reason, while writing this speech, I have had to don many hats. And these hats pertain to my wide and varied lived experiences. I had to do this in an effort to address the many perspectives, the many considerations that weigh heavily on us. I hope I am not the only parent who is up at 3 a.m. in the morning wrestling with homeschool matters. But before I go any further, let me introduce myself. A Jamaica me born and a Kingston me grow, where sun they glisten and cool breeze they blow. There is no snow, but airy vibes a flow. So come make we reason. You know, sissy, a mango season. I am well aware that there may be very few in the audience who are equipped with the version of the English language that's necessary to understand my introduction. Some of you will try, and for that, I am thankful. But I fear that others will have already tuned me out. And the question is why? So let me give you 2 questions to start off with. As we go along, you'll be getting more questions, but right now there are 2 questions. Why do we speak in languages that others don't understand? Why do we tune out people who speak in ways that are not familiar to us? As you reflect on these 2 questions, I want to be clear that I am also gesturing towards educators who are so professional in their approach that they don't realize they sometimes spew acronyms that make sense only to those who are trained in edu-speak. This means that they are not really intending to speak with all parents and families. I have more questions. How does such blatant disregard of some families make sense if we desire greater parental involvement and family engagement? And we know that involvement and engagement must be facilitated by 2-way communication that leads to common understanding and homeschool interaction. How does it make sense to disregard members of our community and in so doing discard their ideas because their culture is different or they don't speak the official language as well? I have another question. How does it make sense that we are said to be partners, home and school, and yet families are made to feel so powerless that they are afraid to ask the more powerful educator to break down the multi-syllabic words that mark professional status? Why are parents and families embarrassed to ask for clarification? How does this all make sense? I want you to consider that I am a post-secondary educator. So I teach students in college and university. In those classrooms, I engage with my students by asking questions, and they give me answers. Their answers then direct the flow of the conversation. So I don't stick to a prescriptive script. This speech will feature some aspects, and I say only some aspects of my teaching philosophy, because we are not in a room together where we can engage in call and response conversations. Instead, our dialogue is facilitated in the chat feature, being monitored by YRDSB employees. So go ahead, put your responses, your questions, your concerns, your visceral reactions in the chat. Don't hold back. So when we think about those 2 questions, why do we speak in a language that others don't understand? And the second was, why do we tune out people who speak in ways that are not familiar to us? Sometimes people who speak in a foreign language. Why do we tune them out? Well, this is how I'm going to answer it. It is significant that I chose to share my positionality in Jamaican English because I want you to consider how you feel when you hear me speak in Jamaican English. For me, using Jamaican English to introduce myself is an act of resistance and an act of education. What am I resisting, you may ask? I am resisting the urge to go along to get along because I am afraid of what others will think about me. When we come together, we arrive in our authentic selves from different backgrounds, socially and financially, among other allies. So we must think and behave differently. Let me tell you, if you are in a group and everyone is always in agreement, there is an underlying problem of either unequal partnerships, passive aggressiveness, bullying, and indifference. Something is going on if everybody agrees all the time to everything, especially everything that the leaders say. So what I'm actually saying is let me translate it. Teeth and tongue must meet. This means that I expect conflicts, disagreements, disputes, and the success of the team will be linked to how we navigate conflict and resolve disputes. I am resisting the tendency to conform according to the normalized expectations that tell us we all must speak in a certain way in order to be welcomed or to feel welcomed, to feel as though we are included. At the same time, I am educating those who believe that it is their way or the highway. We must resist the urge to disregard those who have been marginalized and socially positioned on the periphery of our society. We must not only aim to be inclusive, we must include. We must include everyone. We must not only talk the talk, but we must walk the talk. So in the time that's left, we will cover three main considerations. The first one is attract and recruit. The second is relevance and belonging. And the third is authentic voices and inclusive spaces. Those are the three considerations, the three main themes that I'll be talking about. Let's start with attract and recruit. In my past career life, I was a marketer and public relations practitioner. Attracting and keeping clients and customers was what kept me up at 3 a.m. That was pre-twins. You know, they're now teens. So anyway, the point is that was pre-twins. I was up at 3 a.m., not thinking about children, but thinking about customers and clients. YRDSB says that it aims to co-create solutions with families and community members as a part of developing collaborative cultures within the local school and at the subcommittee level. I will apply some nuggets from my days as a marketer within these educational spaces. So many of you will recall the 5 W's and a H. It's still relevant. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. As you begin to figure out how to replenish your team of school council's members, I urge you to consider, do you really want to have just a warm body at the table? And it doesn't matter who is at the table. If it's just a warm body that you need, then I can urge you, I will tell you, there is no need for you to engage any further. If, however, you want to roll up your sleeves and get to work engaging diverse families, then I suggest that there are more questions that you should ask yourselves. And I start with the principal teams. Do the principal teams know their community well? Do they know how to ensure that the school council members truly reflect the student population? Do you know who your neighbors are, who your community members are? Have you done the research to clearly identify the profile of residents in your community? When you open the doors to welcome new members to school council, what is your intention regarding true representation? I can tell you this, if you don't know the answers to these questions, I am suggesting that you get together as administrators and school council leaders and family members. Get together and talk. Perhaps you can look at the surveys that have been done by YRDSB. Perhaps you can conduct your own informal surveys to find the answers to these questions about your community composition. And then think about what characteristics or skills do your potential members possess? Can these be useful to student council? And as importantly, what skills do they wish to learn as you all work collaboratively to achieve the goals and objectives of your local school council? Let's move to the second of the considerations, relevance and belonging. What if you have tried as a school council, but you just cannot fill those seats, those empty seats, those vacant seats on council? I suggest that you consider relevance and belonging. You start by asking, why the apathy? Why are parents no longer willing to or eager to serve on school council? How do we then make school council more relevant so that we address the needs of all parents, not just those who are on the inside? And by on the inside, I mean the insiders. Those parents and families who have the loudest and most eloquent voices and therefore seem to be most powerful. Are these the parents and families who have the ears of local school administrators? Are these the parents and families who get more time with their administrators? Are these the parents that administrators fear? Because these parents' idea of a conversation is to threaten media exposure or to wield a promise of a letter from a lawyer. The question is, whose voice is being heard? Who is regarded in the local school? Is it the parent who talks and negotiates? Or is it the parent who threatens media exposure and lawsuits? Word gets around, you know. I ask administrators, which parent is most effective? Which parent is most successful in getting their children's needs met by the local school? So about maybe a month ago, when I was considering, should I do this keynote speech, I was reminded of an exchange I had some 7 or so years ago when I was the chair of the Family Engagement Council of a pediatric rehabilitation institution. I remember the senior executive saying to me, Jackie, we don't need a lot of, verbiage. We don't need a lot of talk. What we need is just some low-hanging fruit. We just need to get ahead of this thing and provide some information in a few meetings, perhaps stage a workshop or a similar event. This was long before COVID-19. So what I got from this executive is that she had it all planned out for me. She thought it was going to be easy. 2 tools, done, snap. But my brain computed red flags. As I think about the low-hanging fruit, I think about fruit trees with branches strained towards the ground. In my mind's eye, I see the low-hanging fruits that are easily reached by dogs and other animals. And then I see the high-hanging, ripening fruit, sun-kissed, red-orange in color, fully developed, luscious, mouth-watering. You must extend great effort. You must extend a great deal of effort to reach those high-hanging fruits. So let me connect the dots. Reaching for the high-hanging fruit of true family engagement means work, hard work, intentional work, collaboration, and communication. Family engagement means bridging the gaps between all parents and the school. Not just those parents who are available during the day, not just those parents who are members of school council. We must consider what times and at which events families, parents, caregivers can be in relation with each other, can interact with each other. We must consider families and encourage them to work together in the best interest of all children, of all students. I would like to suggest that we must encourage parents to come with their authentic voices. If families don't feel like they belong, if they don't feel like their presence matters, then it makes sense that they will not expend the time and effort to attend council meetings or get involved in school activities. However, when they feel like they belong, when parents feel welcomed and they feel like they matter and their children matter, as members of the local school community, there will be an overabundance of parents and family members who are eager to become members of school councils. So what I'm saying is that the normal or normative way of thinking about school councils tells us that parents should want to be members of school council just because they will contribute to the betterment of all schools. But is this really so? Is this really so? So let us talk about the third consideration, authentic voices and inclusive spaces. Just this morning, I was teaching class and the students introduced me to the term Wu-Nai. They explained that Wu-Nai communicates a sense of helplessness and hopelessness when they face isolation, exclusion caused by racism. So they were talking about anti-Asian racism. That's when they introduced us to the term Wu-Nai, that sense of helplessness and hopelessness. With the concept of Wu-Nai in mind, the looming question then is, do all or most parents feel welcome at your school? Before you answer with a resounding yes, or before you get hot under the collar because I dare to ask this question, may I suggest that you take a look at the composition of your local school council before COVID-19 and take a look at your council now. Are you seeing the same faces, even though they may be fewer in numbers? And do these faces truly represent your school community? If you believe that parental engagement and parental involvement in school council is necessary, then this is a seminal question. This is a question that must drive your thinking as members of the board's subcommittee and as leaders of school council. The question is, why am I engaged? Ask yourself, why am I engaged? Why do I contribute to discussions? Or when I go to school council meetings, is it like being in a club, having status because of being a leader? Or is there a sense of belonging? Can I be myself? Do I feel empowered to speak my truth? Or do I feel as though I must go along to get along? Do I feel that I must be quiet, even though what is being said or discussed do not reflect my reality? Do other parents feel empowered to use their voices and to arrive in the school council spaces with their authentic selves? There are a lot of related questions, but I want you to think carefully. And if you don't know the answers, again, I suggest that you conduct an informal survey. Get to know your community. Get to know parents in the community, families in the community. See how they feel about school council. We must start by being intentional. We must start by inviting parents who are not at the table, those who are not yet represented. Whatever or whomever had been cast down, excluded, and ignored, they must be raised up, regarded, and included during this time of great change. There are some events, some strategies that may seem old, but I encourage you not to throw them out altogether. Dust them off, adjust them for current times, and therefore make them new, applicable, and relevant again. You can have new ones, but just don't throw out all the old ones. Talking about old ones, I am reminded of fundraising events. There are so many fundraising events across YRDSB that it makes no sense for me to go into them right here. This speech will not rehash events. I just want to remind you, though, that the events will be successful and well supported if these events address the needs of all students. Make the students' needs central to your planning. Now I'm going to talk about some strategies to engage more parents, caregivers, and families as you decide how best to implement change. You'll notice that the strategies are intentionally broad. I did this deliberately because I want school councils, meaning parents, educators, and community, to refine the recommendations that I'm giving, to contextualize these recommendations so that they meet the specific needs of the local school. So here are the strategies. Here are my recommendations. Number one, build collaborative communities. As I mentioned before, select parents, families, and community members. By select, I mean those who are not at your table. This is a responsibility of the principal team primarily. Of course, school council leaders and members can help. Number two, be intentional about including, inviting, and recruiting racialized. And by racialized, I am suggesting that you make sure that you go out of your way to invite Black and Indigenous parents. Make sure you do the same for the less affluent parents and families. School council is not about fundraising, not only about fundraising. There must be social activities that allow all parents to share experiences, to get to know each other. Talk about their joys and their dreams, their hopes, their fears and challenges in safe spaces. Plan strategies that move you beyond disagreement and impasse. As I said before, teeth and tongue must meet. But what will you do so that you can retreat among yourselves, and so that you will improve your relations? Another strategy, another suggestion is for you to implement universal design for learning in school council meetings. Sometimes we rely too much on the written word. What about communicating by video? Information can be distributed by the social media. You can talk in coffee chats. Parents can meet outside of school council meetings for social reasons. Make sure to have translators available at all meetings and other types of events. Raise your expectations of non-native English speakers. Get to know them, and you'll realize that their intelligence and their willingness to participate and feel like a part of the community are just the same as yours. Assume competence. If applicable, change your thinking. I want you to begin to believe that racialized and disabled parents are competent, and so they can participate just as well as able-bodied, educated, more affluent parents can. Don't assume incompetence. Allow parents to demonstrate their intelligence. Another strategy is to talk to your superintendent. Talk to your superintendent, your principal. Gather the findings from the YRDSB surveys as they pertain to your local school. Learn about your local school. Learn about the surrounding community. And therefore, you can be able to figure out how your school council can move beyond the needs of just some parents and embrace the needs of all parents and families and the needs of the wider community. And I'll leave you with one last question. How do you go about ensuring that your meetings acknowledge the culture, language, and support needs of all families within your local schools? And by all families, let me just unpack it for you. I just don't mean the more eloquent, louder voices, not just those who wear brand name clothing and smell really, really good, not just those who drive cars that you can only dream about, not just those who have the principal and superintendent on speed dial. No, I'm not talking about those who are closest to the center of power. I'm not talking just about those parents and families. I'm talking about all parents and families. In the interest of time, I will stop here. Join me in the workshop sessions where we will role play, talk, dissect related concepts in breakout rooms. I thank you. I thank you for giving me the time to talk to you at the 2023 YRDSB PEAC Symposium.
Thank you for your engaging message, Dr. Detfield. Your words have inspired us to move forward to create authentic and inclusive parent engagement in our school councils and school communities. Thank you for being with us tonight and for your gift of time and knowledge. Before we transition to our pre-selected workshops, our student leaders from John McCrae Public School will lead us in a movement break.
Would You Rather, brought to you by Grade 2 and 3 Healthy School Leaders from John McCrae Public School.
You will be asked some Would You Rather questions. Do the move associated with your answer. Follow along with us.
Would you rather be very happy or very rich?
Would you rather eat a hamburger or a pizza?
Would you rather live where it is always winter or where it is always summer? Would you rather play Pokemon Go or Among Us?
Would you rather have a cat or a dog? We hope you enjoyed movie with us.
Oh, that was great. Thank you to the student leaders from John McCrae Public School. We hope you feel energized and ready to move to your pre-selected workshops. Please join your workshop now using the Zoom meeting link provided in your registration confirmation email. We've placed the workshop list with the Zoom meeting links in the chat for your convenience. Please copy and paste the Zoom meeting link in a new browser window to enter the room. Your workshop facilitator will close the evening with you by 9 p.m. We will share a feedback form by email in the next day or so for your thoughts and reflections. Please take a moment to complete this form. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening and for supporting parent engagement. Enjoy your workshops.